Okay, so next we have the Tunique Tower 120 Extreme CPU cooler. This is what I'm going to be using on my processor instead of its stock cooling fan. So I would show you some of the interesting stuff it states on the box, but it's so much easier just to open it up and show you. Or at least theoretically it should be easier. The hell? Okay, you suck, box. Alright. All this good stuff. Take off the flimsy skin. That looks sexy in there. I don't know if y'all can see that and all that black rub from the cardboard. Yay, messes. Okay. Open another box. Great way to save trees. This, more than likely, contains all of the brackets and hardware that's required. Yep. Here we've got a couple of different spare bracket pieces that come in multiple parts. Some little feet, and grommets, and screws. This is, I believe, the plate I will be using for, this one should fit AM2, AM2 Plus, AM3, and AM3 Plus processor sockets. I'm pretty sure about that. What does that say? Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, AM2 is listed right there on one of the screw holes. So this is probably one of the brackets I'll be using. We'll go into that later. This is a small syringe of thermal paste that they include. That's what I'll be applying to the processor to transfer heat. And then this, turn it around so you can actually read it, is a fan speed controller for the fan that is inside the cooler. I'll show you that here in a minute. I don't think I'll be using this, however, because if you plug this in directly to the motherboard will register and control how fast the fan spins, which I would prefer the motherboard do it, because any good motherboard is going to control it better than you could manually, for the most part. You could just set it to high speed all the time, but then your fan would eventually die in there. So I just let the motherboard control it. I'm not that concerned. I'm not going to be overclocking, so alright, just stuff all that back in there. We'll get to that later. Here, the actual dude. There's an instruction booklet on how to actually assemble a guy. Trust me, you will probably need this if you've never set up one of these exact same deals before. It's not exactly immediately intuitive. I installed one of these on NappyFS's old computers, and I would say first time I did it, I tried to do it without reading the book. It took me like 30 minutes. Then I read the book and had it fixed in like 5. Okay, so foam blocks in there. You get out of the way. Bam! There it is. Now, if you compare this to the heatsink that the processor comes with by default, you will obviously see there's probably going to be some performance difference. You know, this one's going to have much higher fan speed controls. It's better at pulling the heat away from the processor. Let me see if I can bust him open real quick. I'm going to be building this here in just a couple of minutes, so I'm not really concerned. Alright, more silica gel / desiccant. So, here on the base, you'll start with, this is just solid copper. This is solid copper heat pipes that the heat pipe itself makes direct contact with the processor. This is going to enable for faster heat transfer up into these fins where the fan will actually blow. You can barely see the fan in there, but there's a fan inside. Take these screws off, slide it out. There's a fan inside here that actually blows the air across these fins. Monster cooler, works exceptionally well. I'm very pleased with its performance in NappyFS's computer. So, I'll figure out something to do with this. I may figure out a way to do like a raffle or a contest and give some of these parts away that either I'm not utilizing or old parts from my old computer that are still good but that I've replaced. So, I'm not going to worry about that. Get out of the way. So that's mainly all there is with this guy. Here you've got the fan controller. This is where I would plug it in. Kind of where that, actually it's over here, where the speed knob would normally have plugged in. Actually, it would plug in here and then control it that way. Rather, I'm going to plug this into the motherboard and let the motherboard control it. So that's basically it. Again, here is a little plastic film deal. I'm going to leave it on for now, but when I get ready to apply this, I'm going to take this sucker off. Otherwise, it will royally screw up your processor later. So, there is that monster. It weighs not a whole lot, but once it's mounted on the actual motherboard, it weighs much, much more. So it's going to start getting aggravating, and I've already bent one of the fins here. Not a huge deal if you bend a fin or two, but everything else looks good. Okay, so there's that. Pretty sweet, I think. As I just slam it back down. Probably bend another pin like an idiot. You sit there. I'm going to save that to the side because I will more than likely need the instruction manual for that again. And then, what the majority of you have been waiting for, the video card. Asus HD 6970. Probably the second or third most powerful, at least AMD card available at the moment. I'm not necessarily a fanboy of Intel, AMD processors, or ATI versus NVIDIA video cards. However, I tend to focus more towards on price point. So, if performance of, and this was the case in this particular video card, the performance of the 6970 was roughly equal to an NVIDIA card of about twice the price. So, I didn't want to spend more than about this much. So I definitely was not going to go with NVIDIA. Granted, NVIDIA does have more powerful video cards overall. The highest end NVIDIA card is more powerful than the highest end ATI or AMD card. But I'm not going to spend that kind of money on a video card. I just don't have to play all my video games at Ultra. I personally don't have to. Wow, nice. All black and gold. Kind of like that. Driver CD. Speed setup. I'm sure that's an instruction manual on how to get all the goodies to work just right. So we'll set that off to the side. Foam insert here is the actual beast himself, or herself, however you want to genderize this. Peel up the tape. Again, just like the motherboard and half the other computer components, it comes in an anti-static bag. I don't worry about it afterwards. There is the monster himself. I don't know for sure, but I believe those are two 80mm fans on the actual heat sink setup that's going all the way through the underneath of this guy. The pipes, I don't know if you can see the pipes underneath through that crack. They are actually copper heat pipes, which is very good. You can actually see the ends of them here. This is the best video card I have ever played with. Actually, no, that's a lie. I've actually installed an Asus Aries card into NapBFS's machine. Got a little protector for the PCI Express 16X connector. So we'll take that off when we actually install it. And there is also a similar plastic connector up here. These are the connectors where you would actually daisy chain multiple video cards together to use either 2 or 3 video card SLI, or Crossfire in this case. And then, on the actual back of this guy, it has 2 DVI connectors, and these, throw those away. These two DVI connectors do support conversion to HDMI with audio throughput. So there are no connectors on the actual video card required to pipe audio into those HDMI adapted DVI connectors. So that's convenient. You just put the little adapter on there, plug your HDMI cable in, it all works. Same thing with these 4 display port adapters. These can be adapted to either DVI or HDMI. I know that for sure. Whether it can be downgraded to a smaller connector like component or composite, I am not confident. Nor VGA, I'm not sure about that. I believe it was supposed to support it so that they could have universal connectors for pretty much everything, and then you would just buy the adapters, but that's neither here nor there. So this card, if set up to do so, could technically power 6 monitors. If you had connectors that would work like that. Then over here, you've got 2 8-pin PCI Express power connectors solely for this video card. This video card is a beast, so it needs all that power. Keep in mind, people who have built computers before have probably forgotten to plug 1 or more of these power connectors in at one point in time, and this video card will definitely let you know if you've forgotten that. These things scream like bloody murder. Makes you scared the first few times you hear it. You think you've destroyed something, and then you look and it's just, forgot to plug it in, and it was just an alarm screaming at you. So there's that card. Set him back into this foam deal. All these extra connectors. Here is, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier, an additional crossfire adapter that comes with the video card itself. This is a single DVI to, I don't know if y'all can tell that, that's HDMI there. Is it? Yeah, that's HDMI. And then this is the adapter that actually supports audio throughput as well. So that's convenient. And then this is 2 6-pin adapters to a single 8-pin adapter for power supplies that do not contain 2 8-pin PCI Express power adapters. This will actually let you adapt 6-pin to 8-pin, but you would need 2 6-pin to get 1 8. Mathematically, that doesn't make sense, but electronically, for the amount of voltage and wattage that's going to the card, it does make sense. So don't worry about it. Don't think too much into that. So that is the video card. How does that go back on? Just like that. And now we will move right on in to the case. Again, this is the case that NappyFS most recently was using. Sorry if some of the case peels off the screen, but this is the Antec Landboy Air. It is basically the most modular case available. And pretty much every single piece can be removed and placed back on in a different orientation somewhere. You've got, pretty sure you can't see that, you've got different size thumb screws, so make sure to keep track of those. Taking those 6 thumb screws out allows you to remove the back panel. This motherboard tray does also come out so that you can more easily connect the motherboard onto it out of the back. So there's that. There is so much stuff to cover on this particular case that I will probably have to mention it during the build process. So you're not going to hear anything quite immediately about the different setup options. The one thing that a couple of viewers had pointed out to me was with the quantity of fans that this case at least can support. I'm not sure if I'm going to be maxing them out or whether the number that's currently in here will produce too much noise during my recordings. But if it does produce too much noise, I'll probably move to a different case and then do like a little case swap video deal, and we'll do that, and then I'll auction or raffle this thing off as well to anybody who wants it that doesn't do recording and could care less how loud the fans are. On the front of the case, trying to make sure this shows up on video correctly. I'm sorry if it doesn't. On the front of the case here, you've got the power button, reset button, LEDs, 2 USB 2.0 ports, 1 USB 3.0 port, audio connectors both for headphones and microphone. I believe that's correct. Let's say yes. Of course, your CD-ROM drive would go here, or any of these panels could be moved, and you could put it in either of these slots. As well as this entire fan assembly, each one individually can be moved up or down this face, and you could actually put your CD-ROM drive down at the bottom if you really wanted to. And then this bottom thing is a toolkit. You open it up, there's spare screws and stuff in here. During the building process, I'll show that to you. This whole assembly can be moved to the side of the case, and this door can be placed here. For those people who set this up on a desk and push it up against a wall, that way these will come out to the side directly at the user. Quite beneficial. A lot of people were asking when this case first came out, and they said, you can put your stuff here. Everybody was going, why the hell would you want to do that? But that's basically why. And then pretty much all the doors are relatively easily removable, like that. It's a little dirty, so I'll clean it up as I'm building, but it has been in use, so there's no huge surprise there. So let's move on to the actual building process itself.